Yeah.
2-5 in the last 7 games for the Guards before the break. They lost their 2 series to Detroit and Tampa Bay. Time to panic, or just a rough stretch in the schedule that's to be expected for a season that's 100.
I definitely don't think it's time to panic, but the bad stretch is really longer than that. It's been about 17 games that I think they've lost 10 of 17, like that.
Yeah.
They're not playing particularly good baseball right now. The offense this last week on the road, outside of that game they won,
the 2 home runs Saturday.
Yeah, but I'm saying for the last week, that whole road trip between Detroit and Tampa, they won that one game 9-8 or 10-9. I can't remember the final score. Besides that, they didn't hit really the entire last week.
They were shut out a couple times.
Yeah, 3 shutouts in the final 7 games. So we knew the offense couldn't keep up quite that pace.
Right.
It's regret. The good news is the Orioles have struggled. The Yankees have struggled. They still have the best record in the American League at the All-Star break, almost 100 games in. So am I disappointed how they play lately? Sure. Am I panicked? No, I'm not panicked.
Yeah, I'm not panicked either. I had said when we talked about this in May when they were overachieving, they're going to hit a stretch.
Sure.
Get ready for it. They're going to hit a stretch where they're going to lose. They'll have a sub 500 record for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's exactly where they are now.
Yeah.
Here's the beauty of what's happening. You know and I know it couldn't happen at a better time. Gee, they're getting ready to go into the All-Star break. They can hit reboot.
Yeah.
They can, first of all, the break mentally and physically is so much needed.
Yeah.
They can reboot. They can get their minds together. They can come back after the All-Star break and put all of this behind them. Stephen Vogt's message should be this. Yeah, we've played poorly the last 20 games, 17 games. The good news is we still have the best record in the American League. And if I would have told every person in this clubhouse that we'd have a 4.5 game lead in the American League Central at the break, every one of you would have taken it. Bulk erased the last 2 weeks, and let's go kick some ass.
And by the way, I'll throw this caveat on it. I'm impressed that they got the 4.5 lead. Plus, you've seen a ton of guys. Martinez, I like what I'm seeing out of him.
I do too.
He was walking before. It seems like he's a guy that can put the ball in play. You know, if you get the chance to see a lot of these guys, it looks like you're going to have an opportunity to put a lot of these guys on the market and try to get somebody. And if you look at the sticks and the bats, that's even more of a reason I want to see the kid from Oregon State, because they got an opportunity to put somebody in that place to get it done, because they have to hit. To me, they have to hit at that high level that they've been hitting to be successful in the playoffs. Because the pitching isn't that.
Here's a couple interesting things. The Guardians have the best home record in the majors.
Yeah.
They're 30-11 at home. What that also means is they haven't played a ton of home games.
No.
They actually, if you look at their last, they have 67 games left. 40 at home, only 27 on the road. That's nice. It the rest of the season. In fact, they end the year, I want to say 13 of their last 15 at home, or 12 of 14, something like that. It's like they have 2 series at home, a 2-game road trip to St. Louis, or maybe 3 games, and then another two team homestand.
Good.
Their schedule is very tough. In late July, August, they are playing the Phillies, they're playing the Orioles, but they're competitive. They are as good. I believe this team is a World Series contender, and I believe if they make additions, at least 1 hitter and at least 1 starter, hopefully 2 starters, but if they make those additions, I think they are a bona fide World Series contender.
I agree.
This team can win it. Nobody's clearly better except for Philly. Philly in the National League is clearly the best team right now, but in the American League, the Orioles got their issues, the Yankees got their issues.
The Yankees are falling apart.
This is the year to go all in. They have to go all in right now.
One thing, I hate to go back to Bazzano, one thing we didn't say during the discussion, and I saw this talked about a little bit yesterday, the ball is flying out to right field now more than ever because of the Reno. It doesn't hurt that the kid is a power-hitting left-handed hitter.
No doubt.
Where there seems to be a jet stream carrying the ball to right field.
I'm starting to feel like Earl. They might want to go ahead and change that doggone. Can we go ahead and halt that in right field? Let that just ride? Because like right now, like the ball is flying out that way. Yep. And I do want to ask, do you think it's pertinent? Do you think it's important that the Guardians have #1 overall seed in the playoffs? Do you feel they need home field advantage? Or
absolutely. I think listen, we all understand that it's not as big a deal in baseball as it is in the other sports. We understand that. But there's something to be said, for the fact that they have kicked ass at home this year. Yeah. And assuming that continues in the second half, you're going to want to be at home. Number 2, you want last licks. Mm-hmm. It is an advantage to have last licks, And number 3, this is a big one. If you play in the Yankees, I want nothing, and I don't want to be playing at Yankee Stadium in a deciding game.
I don't.
Well,
there's something about that stadium I don't want anything to do with.
I don't want to go anywhere near it. Yeah, you'd rather have it.
Yeah.
But we talked about this last year after the Rangers made their run to the World Series.
Yeah.
They have the words ROAD on their World Series ring. It spells road, but here's why that's important. They beat the Rays, the Orioles, the Astros, and the Diamondbacks, ROAD.
Yeah.
I believe they were 11-0 on the road in the playoffs.
That's
now, that
crazy.
is never going to happen again.
Never.
That's crazy.
That is one of the most mind-blowing stats I have ever heard about postseason baseball.
Yeah.
To go 11-0. But as we learned in 2016, and as you celebrated, it doesn't mean that you're going to win the World
That's right.
Series,
Of course not.
even if it goes to 7 and 7 is in your house.
Right.
It doesn't ensure victory. But to your question, of course, you'd much rather play more games at home than on the road.
Yeah, and they've been particularly good. They've hit for way more power at home. They've just been a way better team at home. Not that they've been bad on the road; they've been fine.
Well,
but they've been way better at home.
They're about 500 on the road.
Yeah, but that's not bad. I mean,
no, if you can, here's the method to make the playoffs is win 2/3 of your games at home and win half of them on the road.
Right.
If you do that, you're going to postseason baseball, and that's exactly what the Guardians have done. They've actually exceeded 2 out of 3 at home. When you talk about 30-11, that's I don't know that they can continue to win at home at that rate.
That's a crazy.
That's hard to keep up well over 162 or 81 at home.
Yeah.
But hell, if
they need some reinforcement. I kind of wish. I love that David Fry made the All-Star game. I kind of wish he was off this week. He could use a breather.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
He could use a breather because he's struggling.
Yeah.
He is really struggling.
It almost seems like they're all hit that slump at the same time.
Yeah.
The good news about that is they all should come out of it at the same time.
Hopefully, yeah. Home stand right after the break.
Who do they start with?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I can't.
Have it here.
I think it's a. Oh, it's San Diego.
They got two series at home, San Diego, and then I think the White Sox maybe.
Okay.
I can't remember off the
they
top
can
of my
get
head.
healthy off the White Sox.
Yeah. Well, they should, but White Sox have played well against them.
Yeah, they played
for whatever reason. The Guardians have played better against better teams.
Hopefully by then, they'll be without one of their pitchers that's beaten us twice, and he'll be on our roster.
That's true.
I don't know that they would do it. When do you want to see the moves made? I meant to ask you that last week. Do you wait until the end, or do you like to maybe strike early before everybody else gets in on it?
It's a catch-22 because the closer you get to the end, the less leverage that the selling teams have. Because now, if you don't trade the guy, well, you can't trade him.
You're right.
But if you get him early, maybe you get 1 or 2 more starts, that may make a difference. And right now, my biggest concern with the Guardians is the overuse of the bullpen.
Oh, me too.
Right? And so the sooner I can get these pitchers to help now, it's been big that Gavin Williams, after struggling his first start, his last 2 starts have been really good.
Much better.
And Ben Lively bounced back yesterday. I thought he pitched pretty well. After the last start, he was terrible.
Well enough to win.
Yeah.
But it's like, I need Gavin Williams and Bybee to be good at the same time. Can we get them to line up?
Bybee will be all right. I know he's been in a little, I like that he gave up I don't like that he gave up 4 runs in 3 innings, but the fact that he was able to get through 7 and he pitched well those last 4 innings, I bet he pitches really well after the break. It's a young team. They needed a breather. Hopefully they'll be all right after the break.
Give me your wish list. Mine's Fetty. I think I said that last week. Who's on your wish list?
I mean, my realistic? Because my wish list is Tarek Skubal from the Tigers.
Yeah, okay. I want a pony for Christmas too, but I'm realistic. Like, realistically, who can they go out there and on your wish list bring in?
I'm fine with Fetty. I like him.
Yeah.
He would be a good choice.
Is Bichette on there?
So Bichette is, but I'll tell you.
He's on mine too.
A guy I've had my eye on for a while now, and he's having a great season. Because I think the Cubs should sell. I don't know if they're going to because they played better the last week.
What are they out?
They're 3 games out of a wild card, but they're behind like 7 teams.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I want them to sell. I think Jamison Tyone, strong pitcher.
Last week.
He's having a great season for the Cubs. And he's having a great season on a team that's not hitting, not doing well.
Will he be the most sought after guy?
I do think it's possible, not likely to the Guardians, but I think there's like a 5% chance that the Tigers will trade Tarek Skubal. If that's the I know it sounds crazy, but they could get such a haul for him, and they might not be competitive the next couple of years, that they might do.
I feel like they're going this way, not this way.
I don't know. Their top pick, Spencer Torkelson's gone back to the minors. Casey Mize looks like just a back-end starter. I don't know. He's a long shot. It probably won't be traded. I think Kyle Gibson of the Cardinals is very interesting if they trade him. Another guy on the Tigers, Jack Flaherty. I mean, he's had a tremendous bounce-back season.
Yes.
The White Sox have Garrett Crochet as well. Mm-hmm. The Blue Jays pitchers, you got Barrios probably won't get traded because he's making a ton of money for a lot of years. But they've got Chris Bassett, who's from Ohio. I don't know if that matters, but good veteran pitcher. You got Yusei Kikuchi from the Blue Jays.
You've liked him for a while now.
Cal Quantrill from the Rockies has pitched decently. Kyle Freeland from the Rockies is an interesting guy.
Let's zone in on Cal for a second.
He struggled his last couple of starts, though. He's come back to earth.
Yeah, he's been a hot and cold guy. We saw that here.
But he's a guy I would only want if he's the second pitcher you get.
Sure. Okay.
Like if you
can't be the move that
No. Yeah. They got to get a legitimate top 3 star. Doesn't have to be an ace, right? Because an ace might not even be possible. But you got to get a guy who I'm pitching in one of the top first 3 games of the playoffs. Absolutely.
The fact that they're where they are. And Ben Lively and Carlos Carrasco have been in the starting rotation the entire season is a mind blow.
And Lively's been great for the most part. Carrasco's been very competitive, more than I thought. But I don't want him pitching in the playoffs.
Well, he can't. I mean, it seems like every time he goes out, he gets up 5. And what's crazy is it's usually about 2 or 3 hitters that do the work. You know, he gives up a 3-run shot. He pitches great. Then he makes one mistake or a guy gets a hold of one. It's over.
If you got to pick one, McKenzie, Carrasco, or Allen, if you had to pitch, which one you pitch in the playoffs?
I'll go with McKenzie just because he's got the best stuff.
I don't want any of them as of right now. I wouldn't want any of them in the playoffs. But if I had to choose McKenzie, I agree with you. His best stuff by far. Yeah.